Yo guys, this is Not a Pleased here, and this is for the Hive Season 2 first game, where we take on the West Coast Weaviles, and they're ran by TCMTL. From what I've seen, he's a pretty good player. He sealed our win versus the NPL Miners, so I know he's a good player, and this is going to take a lot of prep and a lot of thinking to beat him, because matchup-wise, let me go over the teams. So, you probably know our team by now, but I'm going to say it anyway. We got Mega Deoncy, Weavile, Slowbro, Ferrothorn, Lando, Hitmonlee, Dragology, Togetic, Sunfist, Chandelier, and Mischievous. They should all be here, but I'm going to say it anyway. Now, TCM's team, he's got Manaphy, Victini, Necrozma. Alright, right off the bat, all those three Pokemon are pretty threatening. And we haven't even gotten to the Mega yet, which is Mega Scizor. Mega Scizor almost, pretty much demolishes my team. I have to play really carefully, especially with Chandelier, to make sure I don't lose to it. The rest of the team has Flygon, Rhyperior, Sneasel, Rotom, Alakazam, Whimsicott, and Zebstrika. Generally, my concern is also towards the Sneasel, because Sneasel also gives this team a rough time. I know, I'm going to need some lure to beat it, and I think while it can be done, it's going to be pretty difficult. Oh, my bad, I should close these. Ooh. Tinko stays, of course. As for the rest of his mods, I know for a fact Rhyperior or Necrozma is going to be coming because those are his only Stealth Rockers. So, and you definitely want Stealth Rockers versus a team that has Chandelier and Weavile, both of which are pretty good versus his team. Moving on to the Z moves. See, our Z moves are Weavile, Landorus, and Dragology, but as neither of these Pokemon have the Z move today, because I didn't think it'd benefit them that well. His Z moves, right? He has Z status Manaphy. And I want to be clear, when a Pokemon Z status, it can use both Z status moves and Z attack moves, right? So this is a huge threat. And it's Manaphy, so, dude, Manaphy, it can be Z Rain Dance, it can be Z Ice Beam, Z Energy Ball, Z Psychic, Z, it can be Hydro Vortex, it can be any of those. And also has a possibility of Victini as a Z move user and Zebstrika. Now, Zebstrika is whatever. And Victini, honestly, I was working this out with my friend, and he was like, yeah, I don't think Victini's coming, because I have a lot of checks to it, and it can beat Landorus and Weavile if it's Scarfed, and also, Deontay if it's Scarfed, but then it loses out on its coverage, really, because it has to lock itself to one move. So that's bad, and then also I can Pursuit Trap it potentially, so basically what I'm saying is, if it's Scarf, I can easily play around it. And if it's not Scarf, I have a lot of checks to it. So yeah. Now I think it's time to move on to the team builder. So first off, we got Weavile. We have the Dread Plate, because my only hazard control in this team is Magic Bounce Deontay, which is not reliable. I'm going to say it's not reliable. So I don't want something like Life Orb to take damage over time. And I could be Dark Game Z with, the Z knockoff or whatever, but honestly, since he has Mega Scizor, that's such a good switch-in, it's going to be kind of a waste of his Z move. That's why I'd rather go for the consistent damage with Dread Plate as opposed to the Life Orb. Attacks, knockoff, pretty standard. Brick Breaks for Sneasel. Ice Crash, just Ice Stab, good for Flygon, good for Rhyperior. And let's see, anything else? Whimsicott too, of course. And Beat Up, it's specifically helped me break Alakazam's potential Focus Dash. Because I don't want this thing to knock off Alakazam, bring it down to 1%, and die to a Focus Blast. That's not good. I essentially lose a really good Pokemon. So yeah, Eevee's Mental Outspeed Alakazam, rest in HP. Moving on. We got the Ferrothorn, item leftovers. Reason why I didn't want to go with a berry is, honestly, well, okay, Victini, great fire type, obviously, but against this team it doesn't work that well, so that's why I don't think it's coming. And so the rest of his fire coverage is just non-stab. So it won't do that. It's going to do damage, but it won't destroy me in one hit. So that's why I don't think I actually need an Aqua Berry. And then Chople Berry is honestly really hard to predict which Pokemon's going to have a fighting move. I mean, I assume Alakazam is, but will Sneasel have Low Kick? Will Scizor have Superpower? Will Flygon have Superpower if it comes? I don't think it will come though. Because if you look at Flygon, I just think it loses to too much. And again, it's kind of like the same position as Weavile, where if it goes Scarf, I can just play around it with my defensive moves. Okay, now let's move on to the moveset. We got Stealth Rock, for rocks, of course. We got Leech Seed, right, for that, because his only grass type is Whimsicott, and that's not a good switching to Ferrothorn. Oh, and I should say more like his leech seed immunities, excuse me, are Whimsicott and Alakazam. Neither of them would want to switch in on a Ferrothorn. That's a terrible idea. And so since I honestly don't think Whimsicott's coming, because I have a lot of checks for that too, I'm not bringing Steel move. I'm not bringing Steel coverage on this. I have Power Whip mainly for Mana Feed, but it also hits things like Rhyperior hard. Hits Flygon for considerable damage. Basically, it's just for Mana Feed mostly. And T-Wave, it's going to help me hinder stuff like Mega Scizor, possibly Necrozma, maybe Alakazam, because I can live one Focus Blast for sure, and then T-Wave it. That'd be very useful, especially for Chandelure. And yeah, let's go into the EV spread. Generally, I want to go with a more Spadef spread, because I think Ferrothorn does a better job dealing with his special attackers like Manaphy and Alakazam, and as opposed to his physical attackers, which are Victini. Well, Victini could be mixed, but then like Rhyperior could have Fire Punch, and so bam. Ferrothorn doesn't do a good job with dealing with that. And I don't want to switch in Ferrothorn. I don't want Ferrothorn to have to check Sneasel, because I don't want this thing to get knocked off and lose leftovers, because I think that's pretty crucial on this thing, because it lacks reliable recovery. Basically, my point is, like, it does a better job beating its special attackers and physical attackers. Moving on, we have the Chandelure, named after a Tsar. Ignore the nickname, my bad. So, Cobra Ray. This is one of my Sneasel lures, because, as I mentioned when we were going over the teams, Sneasel is super threatening. Even right now, like, holy crap, like, knockoff Low Kick, right? Metal Claw, potentially. Again, knockoff. Ice Shard, too. And, of course, knockoff for this. And so, with that being said, I needed the Cobra Ray. And even with a Cobra Ray, knockoff from a Banded Sneasel can do up to 90%. So I have to be really, really, really careful. I have to find a way to take down Sneasel, hopefully without the use of Chandelure, because this thing taking 90% damage, that's a really, really risky trade-off right there. Especially if I take rocks, I die to a Banded knockoff, even with Cobra Ray, which is kind of funny. But yeah, Flash Fire to help me check Victini better. Flamethrower, just stab moves. Oh, sorry, stab moves, which are really good versus a team, as you can see here. Energy Balls, mainly, it's for Rhyperior, also for Manaphy too, to get big damage off of them. Haze is to prevent Manaphy from setting up on me, because it can definitely eat up an Energy Ball, so I'm going to want to keep spamming Haze if it comes down to it, just so that thing doesn't go for, like, if it goes for Z Rain Dance on that turn, I can Haze and negate that speed boost. So that's really why it's there for Manaphy. EV spread, it outspeeds Necrozma by 1 point, and then the extra ADVs and HP. Max special attack for more firepower. Not firepower. But no, seriously though, I could have put more into defense, but I didn't think it was that useful. Especially since it would be just for Sneasel. So I'd rather have more power offensively versus this whole team, as opposed to more defense just for one Pokemon. So moving on, we got Mega Deontay, Mega Andrew, of course. So yeah, let's look at the moveset. Pretty standard stuff. Moonblast, Diamond Storm, amazing stabs. Nothing resists both of them versus his team. And then HP Fire to actually hit Scizor hard, because I just said nothing resists both of these, which is true, but Scizor can easily eat up a Diamond Storm if it's fit stuff. So I want that HP Fire to hit it hard, right? And then Substitute, yeah. So basically, Deontay can force a lot of things out, including Victini, including a non-Scarf Flygon potentially, including, let's see, what else? That's mostly it, but then also Necrozma if it can't hit this thing hard. Let's see, basically he's going to want to switch out a lot of things if he wants to keep them alive. So I can sub as he switches out, and possibly get a kill too, and yeah, I'll be behind a sub, which is pretty scary when you're a Mega Deontay. Let's go into the EV spread. Hasty, just because I don't want to weaken Diamond Storm. Pretty simple. EV spread is meant to outspeed his base 100s, aka Manaphy and Victini. Max special attack, because of course maximum power with Moonblast, and then rest in HP, just because extra EVs. So yeah, pretty simple right there. Moving on, we got the Slowbro. And again, this is my second Sneasel lure to try to predict him. Hopefully he goes for the knockoff as I chew it up easily and hit him with a hard counter, right? And it just dies, even though I take less damage with Cobra Ray, it just dies. Scald Psychic. Scald is just simply for fishing for birds. It hits things like Scizor, Rhyperior, Victini, most importantly, Necrozma, all pretty well. And then Psychic is honestly just there for Manaphy, because his water resist are Manaphy and Whimsicott, and I just mentioned I don't think Whimsicott's coming. So Psychic is in case I need to get damage off versus Manaphy. And we got the Slack Off, of course, for recovery. EV spread, pretty simple, Fizz Def, and then 12 in Spit F, because just a few. Basically, this lets me take the knockoff with the Core Berry relatively well, so... And then I can slap him hard with a counter, which I really hope works out for me, dude. That thing's a threat. Oh, and you're probably wondering why I'm, like, minus speed as opposed to minus attack. That's for Beat Up, because Beat Up takes a physical... It's basically, each Pokemon hits the opponent's Pokemon with a 10 base power physical dark move. So that's why you still want to have... minus speed here, as opposed to like Bold, where I would lose attack. Beat Up would be less powerful, basically. Moving on, we got Shangy77, Mr. Muscle Man, aka Mr. Fraud with the abs. But we got a Choice Scarf here. This is for speed control, basically. Like, I have Weavile and Mega Deontay for speed, but I don't think they're enough, to be honest. Because like, let's say he gets a Manaphy Z Rain Dance off, he's +1, and then he outspeeds both of these, right? I need some emergency speed control for that. And so that's where Chiangi77 comes in. This moveset, I was originally going to go physical, but didn't really hit anything hard at all, and I was really surprised. Especially Fizz Def Scizor. Fizz Def Scizor took like 20 to 30% from an Earthquake. Basically nothing, right? And so, with this EV spread, pretty straightforward. HP Fires for Scizor, Earth Power for General Stab, and it hits everything hard. Except for Flygon, really, because that's immune. And Rotom, because that's immune. But point is, it's a good stab, of course. Sludge Bomb is just for Whimsicott, to be honest. And so, and then U-turn for Momentum. You start Max. So, realistically, I could have gone, like, 1 point down and put it in HP or whatever. But it didn't matter, so I just ignored that. And like I said, this whole EV spread was like a last minute change, because originally I was like Fizz Def, so I took it out and I was like, oh, I just clicked this, and yeah. So that's why I didn't fix that. But it's only 4 EVs, so it shouldn't make a difference. Yeah, let's go on to the team builder. We should be replay, which should be right about now. So I want to explain. I know a lot of you have been telling me, oh, why are you putting the time in the description when the battle starts? And I'm like, where else am I going to put it, man? Annotations are gone. But then people informed me that you can actually put annotations by using Camtasia in the video. And I that's how you know I'm so out of it, dude. But yeah, so for now it's going to be in the actual video itself, not in the title, because that's really unprofessional. But yeah, let's you know, with the game, because this is a pretty exciting game. As you can see, he brought the threats. Sneasel and Mega Scizor. He was not screwing around when he was team building. He also brought Manaphy, of course. That thing's a beast versus my team. And in general, it's always a beast. I was surprised to see both Necrozma and Rhyperior. Both of them, they're not bad. I just thought, because he's definitely going to bring one of them for rocks, right? I was just kind of curious to see what Rhyperior could do, because Summer's a great switch into it. At least I thought, right? You'll see pretty soon what I mean. And then Flygon, really surprised to see that, honestly. Wasn't really sure about what set it could be, because it could be anything. Offensive, physical, offensive, special, defensive, spit out, like, okay, anything, really. So, really curious to see why Flygon was here, but it wasn't bad. It doesn't do badly, I was just surprised. So, about leads. I thought Chandelure was the best lead, because it essentially checks everything for... It can... Not everything, like Flygon, but it can basically hit things, almost everything, pretty hard. So I thought it was a good lead. And as you can see, he leads off the Rhyperior. The Energy Ball seems like the obvious play. I could switch on to Slowbro, but that gives him the opportunity to grab rocks, right? And I know it's not good to go for the obvious play, turn 1, but all the time, but in this case, I think this is another one of those examples where it's okay to go for the safe play, turn 1. So I go hit him with that Energy Ball. Keep in mind, it doesn't kill if he has the standard spread, but I still want to go for it. Anyways, he went to Flygon, right? And so I do the Energy Ball, go for the Energy Ball. Seed does nothing. As you can see, it's leftovers too. So that pretty much confirms, oh, it's a defensive Flygon. And I wanted to say, like, I realized I didn't really explain my first turn really well. Like, yeah, if I stayed in and he earthquaked, that would have sucked, but it would have opened things up for mostly Weavile, because this thing, it could eat an Icicle Crash at full, right? And so that would weaken one of his checks, the other one being Scizor, and the other one being Manaphy. So my point is like, it was a very aggressive play. That's really it. I just predicted him not to attack, basically. I predicted him to either get up rocks or switch out. So that's why I went for it, really. Yeah, so looking at it now, okay, Flygon. It's a defensive Flygon, but it can still outspeed me. He could have speed crept this thing. So I decided to go into Slowbro. As you can see, he decides to hard switch out, go back into the Rhyperior, and I was like, is this not the most free Scald in the world? Like, okay, he could go into Manaphy, right? But which one? I can just switch out into Ferrothorn, right? So is this not the most free Scald in the world? Like, right? Like, you guys agree, right? And yeah, he even makes it free for me by staying in, and so I go for it, right? Of course, what could go wrong? Oh my god! Holy shit, dude! This is the most. My heart died. Like, when I saw it, it's like, okay, I mean, first I was like, why the hell is he running Thunderbolt when he could be running Mega Horn? But that all changed when he went for the, when he revealed weakness policy. This is a pretty common, it's not common, but it's not an uncommon set. But I was still really surprised to see he brought it in this game. And at this point I was like, okay, time to pick something to die. And then the question is, what move is he going to go for? Is he going to go for the Earthquake, which he probably has? Is he going to go for the Rock move, which he probably has? Or is he going to go for another Thunderbolt? And at this point I was like, okay, I can't predict that, right? That is way too hard to predict. So at this point I need to make a sack. Which Pokemon seems like the least useful? I'm looking at it. Out of all these Pokemon, I chose Landorus to switch in. Because not only, if he goes for Earthquake or Thunderbolt, I'm good. So really, I have the least to worry about if I go into Landorus. But then also, I feel like I can win this game without Landorus. Because it doesn't do anything that the rest of my team cannot do. So I go into Landorus, right? Oh, thank God. Bro, I felt so relaxed. Like, all of a sudden, like, all my fears in my body just disappeared in that turn. You know, turn 3 to 4, probably the closest I've ever been in real life to get a heart attack, right? So now at this point, you know, fortunately we dodged a bullet there. Now the question is, do I Earth Power or U-turn? Because realistically, those are my two options. And I do not want to U-turn and see this thing stay in and get a kill, right? That'd be terrible. So I honestly just go for the obvious play of Earth Powering. And yeah, he predicts that and goes into Flygon, which, okay, like, yeah, obviously didn't work out for me, but I'm fine doing the safe play there because that thing was such a threat, right? So it didn't work out, but I'm glad I went for it anyway. So yeah, in the meanwhile, I have to switch out because I'm locked in. So I decided to go into Deontay, my bad. Sorry, I forgot. And because there was no way it was going to Earthquake there, right? Because, like, I'm a Landorus and, like, I have Slowbro and Ferrothorn, which Earthquake from a defensive Flygon. So no way was he going to stay in. And yeah, he goes into Necrozma. Right, now this is a bit tricky. Because if I Mega Evolve, instead, sure, I can bounce back the rocks. But Necrozma gets Flash Cannon. Alright, Necrozma gets Flash Cannon. I really thought, okay, maybe he has it for this Deontay. Oh, and it also gets Earthquake too. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe he could have Earthquake. But I believed he would bring Flash Cannon more. Because that also hits Weavile super effectively. And it could be some weird Colberberry set. Because this is the first time he brought it out in this game. So with that being said, I decided to go into Chandelure to eat up the Flash Cannon that I thought he'd go for, but he goes for a Psyshock, and bam, there goes half of my health. So that whole idea of using this as a Sneasler is over, it's done, because this thing already dies to knockoff even with the Colberberry. And so at this point I realized, okay, shoot, that was a bad play. That was a bad play. Because I needed this for Scizor, but now it's already weakened. Bullet Punch does about, it can do about 20%, 20-25%. So, you know, at this point I was like, oh shoot, I really needed that, right? And so I want to switch out because I don't want to. It can live Shadow Ball and then kill me with the next Psyshock, which is bad. So I just switch out into Ferrothorn right here because I wanted to keep Chandelure alive. But look, man, he goes for the rocks on that turn. He didn't care. This man didn't care. So the first few turns where I weakened the Rhydon and avoid getting anything dead. Avoid letting anything die. Those were good turns, but At this point, it was a huge setback all of a sudden. I was like, oh, shoot. See, at this point, I was playing too, not passively. I just wasn't making the most optimal plays in general. Like, I went to my offensive Pokemon at the wrong time, basically. That cost me a lot. It let him get up rocks, and I lost half my health on a crucial Pokemon, which will now lose more health because rocks are up. So at this point, I just had to get rocks of my own, just try to pressure him to defog with one of his 2 potential defoggers. And also, the rocks let me weaken Sneasel, which is pretty crucial this game. So I go for the rocks, but he reveals HP Fire, and I'm like, oh, shoot. Right, that's not good. Okay, but then I realized, wait a sec, his last move has to be a recovery move. So Psyshock, HP Fire for offensive moves, and Stealth Rock. Dude, he can't touch Slowbro, right? So I thought, this is amazing. And so, you know, as you can see, he goes Sneasel, right? As I go into Slowbro. So remember, my first slur with Chandelure, Cold Ray Chandelure, is not efficient anymore because it's too weak. So here, I really think, okay, what if I go for counter, right? Because he probably knows it doesn't kill, but he might predict me to switch out here. And so he'd want to stand in knockoffs to get off an item off something, like Ferrothorn. So I predict him to stand in knockoff and go for counter. Oh, let's see if it works, let's see if it works, let's see if it works, let's see if it works. BAM! Thing's dead! Nice, nice, nice. I apologize if I'm too loud, but I'm just super happy because one huge threat is down, right? Huge threat gone. There's another threat remaining in Scizor, and another one remaining in Manaphy, but the big threat is gone. Now another big threat is here, so, oh no. At this point, I want Slowbro to switch out, because Slowbro is still good. It helps me check Rhyperior, helps me check Necrozma, because Necrozma can't touch me. It can also help me with Flygon, because Flygon can't kill me. And Scizor can get the Scald Burn. So I thought, okay, this is a really good mod to keep. So now I'm going to my Ferrothorn to eat up the potential grass move, or it could go for Tail Glow. Wasn't sure. But as you can see, it goes to a grass move, but this part sucks, watch. He gets a Spadef drop. Now, I want to explain why I think that Spadef drop made the situation a lot harder. So, you know, you can't see it in the calc, right? You can't see it, hold on. So, I'm 56% health, basically. And I ran the calc, right? With HP Fire from a timid Manaphy, which I assumed he was. Honestly, mainly for, shoot, what was it? There was some Pokemon on my team. God. I think it was Hitmonlee. So I assumed he would be timid. And so a max special attack, HP Fire, from this thing, would do 55% max had he not got the Spadef drop. So now I just sat there thinking, oh, poo. Right? Because like now he can go for HP Fire without having to worry about me living. So now I have to switch out. And he has nothing to worry about by just staying in HP Fire. But fortunately for me, he switches out, which shows he may not have HP Fire. As I go into Mega Deontay, predicting him to have HP Fire. Because, you know, if he went for HP Fire, I would have eaten it up. And from there, I just try to... if he stayed in and went for HP Fire, I wouldn't stay in with Mega Deontay versus Manaphy, but at some point I would be able to scout his moveset, basically. That was the whole goal of this. Like, I know it may not seem like I gained much, but I actually did, since he switched out. And now I have a free kill, basically. So here I go for the move blast, because Diamond Storm may not kill him. So yeah, and then he goes into the Necrozma, right? Watch. He takes pretty big damage, right? And I was like, damn, dude. And I could sub right here, but I thought, well, maybe he might want a Psyshock, right? Or not Psyshock, excuse me. He's just going to recover, but then he might stay in, and so therefore the sub won't matter because he can break it. Still, it would be the same turn as here, except I'd lose 25% health, which would be bad. So now I go for a Diamond Storm, because not only does it help me, because Diamond Storm here, if I get the boost, it's really good, because the +2 will let me eat Psyshock, and then possibly eat a Bullet Punch from Mega Scizor afterwards. So I go for the Diamond Storm here, and as you can see, no boost, and he does recover, as was assumed. But I'm not going to give up, right? I'm going to keep going. Oh, wait, look. He stacks my period, right? As I go for another Diamond Storm. Look, I get the boost. So really good here. Really good here. So now he goes into Scizor. And I was thinking, okay, is a Bullet Punch coming? And I really thought about it. Because, keep in mind, it's still a roll. Even with the +2, it's still a roll. So I have to predict it, and I was like, this time, I don't think he is. I think he would U-turn predicting me to switch out into something that would want to take the bullet punch. Which, at this point, not good options would be Ferrothorn and Slowbro. So I go for the HP Fire Ring. Right? Watch. Oh, but it lives. But at least he did not bullet punch, right? Oh, shoot. Something a little more scary has happened. He is now +2 Sizzle. But then I realized, hey, wait a second. If I go into Ferrothorn, any contact he makes, he's going to die, right? So if he goes for a bullet punch now, he's going to die to Iron Barbs. So I just go into the Ferrothorn because that seems like a great idea. But watch this. He doesn't go for an attack. Oh, no, not that. Anything but that, right? Anything but that. Oh, my God. So now, we're not facing a Radiance Manaphy, thank God. Instead, we're facing a +2 Manaphy with possibly an offensive Z move. Oh, God. I'd be fine with losing, but this is like destruction, man. Come on. So, yeah, at this point, I knew that with Ferrothorn. Hold on. Excuse me. I knew that with Ferrothorn. Right? I'd have to stay in. Because if I switch out, he's just going to get up the tail glow. And nothing can beat it now. Nothing else can beat it. Because now he's +2. And, alright, Channeler gets outsped, obviously. No matter what. Regardless of the +2. Weavile gets outsped now and dies. Deontay gets outsped now and dies. And these fools... point is, rest of the team loses to this. So now I have to stay in. But do I go for the Power Whip, which is a roll? Or do I go for the T-Wave, which could miss, but it slows him down to where Landorus, Deontay, and Weavile can outspeed and revenge kill afterwards. And I realized, okay, T-Wave's definitely the better play because Power Gen not only can it miss, but like he could have HP investment, he could have bulk investment. So the Power Whip may not be a roll like the Calc says. He might just limit no matter what. So I go for a T-Wave right here. As you can see, he gets up a Tail Glow, which is super scary. T-Wave fortunately lands. And so now, again, my heart goes, right, I get that leftover 63%. Now I really think, okay, now let's kill this thing, right? Kill this thing. Ferrothorn is honestly not that important anymore. Loses to Necrozma. A lot of my team beats Flygon, specifically the Mega Deontay. So yeah, he gets fully paralyzed, unfortunately, as I go for a Power Whip. And so, okay, honestly, I was like, okay, maybe that didn't matter, because he doesn't have HP Fire. He would have gone for it earlier. If you ask me, I would have definitely gone for it earlier if I had HP Fire on the Manaphy, if I were him with the Manaphy. And so, yeah, and unfortunately, Vermin gets Power Whip. He gets paralyzed. As you can see, Power Whip was not close to killing, really. I was 13% off, so really glad I went for the T-Wave first time. And he gets full E-Parrot again. I was like, oh man, that must have really mattered. And yeah, it actually did, because he went for Sub-Zero Slammer. And at +3, that would have definitely killed. And so now he goes into Necrozma. And I'm here thinking, I'll talk about the hacks at the end of the game. I want to get to that at the end. For now, I'm just going to think, I'm going to talk about the game. So here I was like, okay, shoot, this guy has HP Fire, right? So I can't really stay in. So I go into Bro. As he goes for Unrecovered. So I was like, okay, maybe I could have Leech Seeded, but it wasn't worth it. So I just fire off Scalds. I just fire off Scald. Right? Hoping for the burn, but hoping it doesn't come. Now at this point, I really think, okay, what if he's going for the Toxic here? Because he's defensive, clearly, from the lack of damage he's been taking. He's defensive. And so we could have Toxic. And I really wanted to go into Mega Deontay because that just gives me the type advantage, and just like, and then he gets poisoned, right? So I really wanted to. But alas, I'm a pussy and I stay in. And yeah, another unfortunate turn of events. Like actually, the Toxic miss. This was not as significant, in my opinion, as the Power Whip misses, but still, I mean, poisoning a Slowbro helps you a lot. And so at this point, I was like, okay, now I'm going to go into Landorus, because I don't really care if this thing gets Toxic, because it's not as important. But he goes for the Roost anyway, which is expected. And so now I go for a U-turn, predicting him to possibly want to switch out of fear of HP Ice, which didn't really work. So now I go into Ferrothorn. As now he goes for a Toxic. But it doesn't work because, Ferrothorn. Now at this point I realize, okay, he doesn't have Flamethrower or Fire Punch or any fire coverage because realistically the last move is probably going to be Earthquake. Because, okay, so far he's revealed Toxic, Roost. I'm sorry, did I say Earthquake? It's Earthquake, my bad. And then, and also possibly Defog. Or U-Turn. It could be Earthquake U-Turn or Earthquake Defog at this point. But I assume Earthquake. I mean, how would you not run Earthquake? You know what I mean? But yeah, so now I go for the Leech Seed, hoping for just some good recovery, right? As now he goes into the Necrozma. And I'm going to warn you, this sequence of turns is pretty long. In fact, I'm going to switch it to Fast now, because it's going to take a long time. And so yeah, Leech Seed doesn't work. Okay, Leech Seed does its work, my bad. Now I go into Slowbro. Or, excuse me, Landorus, my bad. Shoot. But yeah, I go into Landorus, because I just thought, okay, I'd eat the HP Fire and I'd be able to recover from Leech Seed. As of now, I U-turn again, and I go into Mega Neon Seed, because at this point, would he Earthquake? I don't think he's going to Earthquake, right? Because I have a Landorus out, which he knows can't touch him, but I do have Slowbro and Ferrothorn, which should eat up the Earthquake. I just really did not see him going for Earthquake. Man's lord. I got really upset. First, not upset, I'm not like salty, but I was just like, damn it, dude. Because think about it. If I got that in safely, I would have won the game. He would have been forced to sack one of these two Pokemon. Scizor dies to Rocks. Keep that in mind. He would have been forced to sack one of these two, and essentially I'd win with the rest of my team. But no, alas, I'm a fool. It's not too late, though. I can easily go into Weavile right now, land the Icicle Crash, knock off this thing, and win. That's the thing, I don't want to... If I miss Icicle Crash, I lose, pretty much. I lose. So, I do not want to lose. And so, I don't go into Weavile, because I don't want to risk the Icicle Crash miss, because so many times I've missed moves that cost me the game. And so yeah, at this point, Leech Seed again, because I know he can't hit me hard. As you can see, I almost recovered the whole damage. As of now, he defogs, right? And yeah, I missed Power Whip. How much did that matter? It would have definitely done a ton of damage, but honestly, with the hacks he got versus I got versus him, I'm not going to complain. And so yeah, now I'm going to try to go for another Leech Seed because I predicted him to switch out. Predicted him to switch out. Sorry, I'm talking too fast here. I'm going to go back to normal. So now I'm going to try to get up. So looking at it, should I go for Rocks or should I go for Leech Seed, I think? And I just think, I'm going to go for another Leech Seed. Right, and oh look, the Scizor comes in and no! Oh, okay, at that point, you gotta admit, that hacks mattered so much. Because, oh my god, it would have been dead Scizor. But then Jake pointed out in the chat that Ferrothorn would have been dead if he hit that Sub-Zero Slammer. So I think, okay, that definitely, like, that's justice for him. Like, with that argument, how Ferrothorn would have been dead, I understand. Like, that made me realize, okay, this wasn't as bad as it initially felt. So now, yeah, Scizor can boost up. And so this is bad. Ferrothorn can hardly do anything for this, man. Like, yeah, I can get up a Leech Seed, right? I go for that right here. But, yeah, Scizor is still recovering, so Scizor is still becoming healthy. As of now, I'm saying to go for Rocks again. Not really the best play. I would have definitely, in hindsight, I should have gone Chandelier for sure. Or maybe even Landorus, or just something to give me the offensive momentum. But as you can see, I did not do that. So now he could possibly agility up. Maybe but that would have been bad. So now, fortunately, he switches out. And I can go for the T-Wave because he would definitely not go into Flygon. He can't touch me. So I knew he'd stand or switch into Necrozma. Either one of those things being paralyzed would be amazing. So yeah, and then now he has a paralyzed Necrozma, which makes me want to stay in to get out for Leech Seed versus, because now he's super crippled. Look, he's paralyzed and he's suffering from Leech Seed. So I thought, okay, this is good from here. And now I go into Slowbro. As the now he recovers. And like I said, Slowbro can't touch me. Now, this whole time, I could have gone to Chandelier predicting the HP Fire, but if he Side Shocked, I would have died. And Chandelier and Weavile are good ways of me winning the game, so I don't want to risk them dying. And so, yeah, now at this point, he goes in the Flygon, right? As I go for a Scald, right? At this point, I really wanted to burn off this thing, because the burn would definitely help me cripple it more easily. It would negate leftovers, right? So, yeah, I stand, pray for the Scald to burn. Psychic wouldn't have killed. But alas, no! Burn! And now I'm toxic. So, that first toxic, it mattered a lot, I guess, because now he, like, has to go for it again. But in the end, it wasn't too crucial. Definitely not like the Sub-Zero Slimer. Freeze. The Sub-Zero Slimer, where the Manaphy got paralyzed, it would have gone for that. Yeah, so now I go into Weavile, because no way would he, like, HP Fire. He's definitely going to roost, because if he attacks, he'd lose Flygon, which would make him lose the game, essentially. So yeah, now, Ice Move is too obvious. He's going to go into Scizor for sure. So I want to go for that beat up, right? I got 5 Pokemon, not 6, but 5, so okay. Alright, still going to do damage, right? You're going to see. Alright, so I go for the beat up. 1, alright, 7%. 4, 6, alright, 6, alright, nice. That's it. Then I realize, oh, I didn't know that's how beat up worked. Beat up, it's the other Pokemon that hit this Pokemon. It's not Weavile, I don't think. So I just learned that today. And so now, I was like, oh shoot. So I go into Ferrothorn, because if he Bullet Punches, it's going to take the Iron Barb's damage. And now he goes back into Necrozma. And I really, having Chandelure on my team, I really thought he wouldn't go for HP Fire. Because I just think if I go into that, I really, really put pressure versus his team. And possibly win. So I was really surprised to see went for HP Fire yet again. And so now I go into Burrow, because I don't want the... Sorry, I go into Landorus, excuse me, because I don't want Ferrothorn to suffer from another HP Fire. So yeah, now at this point, Landorus is super useless, but I'm not going to sack it off just yet. And there's really no opportunity for me to sack it off at the moment. So I go into Slowbro, right? He goes for another Toxic, does not work. And yeah, at this point, this is really becoming a bit of a, like, snooze fest. I'm not really doing much, having much progress with this team. I'm not losing, but I'm not winning. So, yeah, I go for another Scald, but, you know, again, okay. So, yeah, now he's just gonna, he eats it up. Doesn't really accomplish much. But, so now I go into Weavile, right? Alright, and he gets fully paralyzed, which is unfortunate. Unfortunate, I will say it's unfortunate. But at this point, I just think it shortened the game. Because I just think it would have been able to kill... Okay, no way it would have gone for an HP Fire. It would have gone for Recover, but it still would have been forced to switch out afterwards. You know what I mean? So I don't think that Parahacks mattered. And now I go into Sizzler, of course, because that's his best switch in. And yeah, now I go for the knockoff, right? Ooh, it barely lives! Oh no! So now I have to predict the 50-50. Is he going to Roost? Or is he going to Bullet Punch? Could I just sack Weavile? I'd very likely lose to Flygon then, so not an option, not a good option. And so I just choose, so I realize, okay, do I stay in or switch on to Chandelure? That was realistically my only 2 options. And I decide, no, I want Weavile because it'll help me beat Flygon, so I'm going to Chandelure. And alas, he Bullet Punches. So yeah, really, honestly, if he roosted, then I would still be free to Flamethrower. You know what I mean? It wouldn't have been that bad. So of course I'd switch out. I don't know when he says 50-50 of the century right here, which is true, but at the same time, like, did he have knockoff? I mean, like, if he had knockoff, it would have definitely been 50-50. For sure, no question. But I genuinely thought Chandelure was the better play. I'm not saying he could have, like, played around that, right? Because, yeah, he could have gone to Flygon, but instead the battle would just keep on going. He wouldn't really gain an upper advantage, an upper hand in that matchup, in that sequence. So now I go for a Shadow Ball, because it's in range to that. And so now he goes to the Flygon. Right, let's see how much damage this does. Yes, now he's in range of another one. Now, do I outspeed? I honestly think probably. I didn't run the calcs, but, you know, at this point, it was Weavile wins with knockoff, so it doesn't matter. And so, thank God I outspeed. Oh. Yes, now does Necrozma die to Shadow Ball? Of course it does. I mean, it's Necrozma, it's bulky, but at half health, it's not going to take it. And that's GG! first win of the season. 5-0. Good game. Really good game. I think both TCM and I played this really well. Oh, we definitely thought a lot with our switches, what time we went for the moves. Like, for example, when the Flygon went for Earthquake as a U-turn from Landorus to Deontay, that was like pro play, man. He was in my head during that time sequence. But now I want to get to the part with the Ferrothorn versus Manaphy. How much did that matter? Now, oh, excuse me. Sorry. Excuse me. Sorry, God types. How much did... No, the Ferrothorn died. What would that mean? Well, I would have gone out to a different Pokemon to revenge kill it. But that's the thing. It may have cost me 2 Pokemon if he wasn't paralyzed. Because if I T-Waved, it would have been at 70% health. And so it would have still been in... It would still need 2 attacks from one of these Pokemon to attack. In the end, though, since Deontay went down so early afterwards, I think Deontay getting off the Moonblast and dying to Surf and going to Landorus, Weavile to kill it afterwards, I don't think would have made changed the game that much. Because as you can see, I essentially went through the same sequence without one of my offensive Pokemon. With one of my offensive Pokemon dying. So I'm saying in that same scenario, I would have probably done the same thing, sack an offensive Pokemon, then use a different one to kill it. And so now you might think, okay, but Deontay died. Deontay died. So basically, like, but not her. Deontay still died to, what was it here? The Flygon. Yeah, but if I lost an offensive Pokemon first to Manaphy, I would have definitely played around more carefully later on with Flygon. Like, I do this a lot where, like, I lose a crucial offensive Pokemon in the beginning, so I start playing more carefully, and I still pull through. This would have just been another example of that. So, in the end, the hacks matter. Differential-wise, definitely. Pace of the game, definitely. But who won? I really, honestly, it could, but I don't think so, really. To be honest, I still think I would have won. And so that's the first game for you guys. Stay tuned, because there are going to be a lot more Hive battles. Next week we're going to play iPro, right? And iPro and I both agreed that I have a really good matchup versus this team. It's just incredible. Now, he can still win. He can still win. iPro's a really good player, but, you know, well, we better pull through, guys. Alright, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. See you guys.